Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I'm your host, Bennett Shear, and today we have another singer that you didn't see from season 20 of American Idol. Please welcome Meili Aspen.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. We talked to a lot of contestants from the show, and they're talking about their memories, who they met, who they had fun with, and your name kept getting brought up, so I'm just so excited to finally meet and get to know you.
Yeah, I met a lot of people through American Idol. They're all very talented. And I miss them. I kind of miss them a lot.
Yeah, so tell me how it kind of all came about. I'm sure music was a thing long before the show, so I don't know if you want to kind of go into that background before Idol came in, just kind of your passion for singing.
Well, I started singing at the age of 3. I would start singing at church choirs and I would just sing along with the choir. And that's sort of how I got into it. And I remember at a young age, I was just very passionate about music. So growing up, I took singing lessons. I started getting better. And then I went more into the musical route and did some musical shows. And it's just something that I've been passionate about and something I feel like I really connect
Would you say that
with.
you have any specific influences, any artists that you looked up to? I know it's been a long time since you started from obviously a really young age, but anybody that you really looked up to?
My whole life, I've looked up to Billie Eilish. I, I really aspire to write like her because within her music, she tells a story, and I like telling stories through my music also. And I feel like that's how you connect more with people when you make music, is that when it comes from the heart. So I really look up to her for that, and I also like that type of music.
Yeah, no, she's so raw. Her latest drop, those two songs, TV, the 30th.
I know.
I
Well,
love
I
those.
was I was in awe when I first heard them in the car. I didn't even know that she was gonna drop them, and
Right.
then I heard them, and I was wow, yeah,
It must be so fun to kind of have somebody to look up to and then start thinking about who you can be as an artist because then you have your fans who can look up to you and say, I love what they do. And I feel like that must be something that is really rewarding as an artist to know that you have other people who can kind of make it a full circle moment for you.
yeah. And I feel like a lot of the people at American Idol are like that too, which is why I had such a great experience there because everyone is very passionate about it, and they all have different people that they look up to. So, and it was good to hear how they started, what they do, their experiences, and yeah.
Yeah, why don't we talk a little bit about what it's like to sort of be surrounded by people who all do music, but maybe do different kinds of music, and maybe how that inspired you, being surrounded by people that might have different influences and genres.
Well, in a way, we're all so different yet the same. I remember we went into the little waiting room before our auditions and we just started singing country songs.
Oh,
And we're
wow.
all just very different singers. Not everyone sings country. But I remember we were in a circle, we were singing to Tennessee Whiskey. Some people played the guitar because they're talented like that. I wish I could. But in a way, music connects people together, even though it's so different. And that's what I really love about it.
And I'm sure the memories that you made with these people and the connections that you made and people that you might stay in touch with, it leaves an impact, beyond being a part of the show, being a contestant. You have these memories with these people and you never know who you could work with or who you could come in contact with in the future.
Yeah. And I think that American Idol, it's all about connections also. It's not just showing your talent, it's trying to connect with people through the talent. And that's what I really appreciated throughout that whole journey. Able to connect with people, not just because of music, but because of the people that they are. We're all similar in a way.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that kind of united feeling of like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, what you're doing, what style, where we come from, but it's a beautiful thing, really. To think that so many different people from all different walks of life are here in this one place to achieve a common goal.
Everyone has their own story, and I feel like I don't know. I enjoy hearing everyone's stories and how they were brought up into music because everyone has different ways of how they were brought up. For me, it just kind of happened, but other people, it's because of like their parents or a family member or something that they saw growing up on TV. Because I remember I would watch American Idol when I was young, and I would listen to I think it was Kelly Clarkson. And I remember going up and watching her and being inspired to do American Idol because of her. Her voice is so powerful too. And she's gotten to work with so many artists like Ariana Grande. I wish I could work with her. Wow, yeah.
I mentioned at the very beginning that a lot of people have talked about you on this podcast. So I want to hear who some of your favorite contestants were, people that you met, and just the memories that you may have shared, some names that might come to mind.
I do remember two people specifically, Daniel and Mario. I really miss them. I forgot how I met them. We all just sort of met because we're all in such close proximity. And I really connected with Danielle because she's very much into Broadway music like me. And I remember hearing her voice for the first time and I was like, wow, she can blow the roof off of a house. She has a powerful voice. And then Mariel too, he has a great voice. I'm just really inspired by him because he's gone through a lot and he put all of that into his music. And that's what I really appreciate him for. I remember even after American Idol, he would call us and he would try to make music with us. So we all stay connected even after it. And I miss them.
Yeah, I'm sure. He was persistent too. He tried out 10 times before he got on the show. So it must have been really cool for him.
Yeah, he was really excited. He always has this positive attitude, and that's something that I really like about him also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I met a lot of other people too. Great voices. Most of them were country singers. And surprisingly, because I thought that it was like more popish, but I guess they were looking for pop and country. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Let's hear kind of how your idol journey started. I mean, were you approached to do the show? Did you audition yourself?
With this round, I auditioned and I got through the first round and then I met the executive producers. I turned in my videos and then they were like, okay, you can come now. And so I went to Texas. I went there for the third round. I got to meet the judges, which was great because I got to see Katy again because I have worked with her in the past. And then I got to meet the other judges too. And so that's basically my whole process of it.
Well, let's definitely hear about working with Katy Perry because I'm sure I saw on your Instagram bio, I was like, Katy Perry, that's cool. I want to talk about that. So I want to hear that story.
Okay. Well, this happened it happened last year in March, I believe. And so my mom got a call from a friend saying, hey, I'm hearing about this sort of production. I think that Meili should turn in her resume. So my mom turned in my resume and they said, it's a non-disclosure. We can't tell you who it is, but we would like you to play a part in this music video. And so we agreed to it. And then they told me that it was Katy Perry that I was going to be working for. I was so stoked. They were looking for a girl on Oahu. Actually, I'm from the Big Island. They were looking for a girl on Oahu who was blonde, had blue eyes, and who could play the guitar. I was none of those things. I was brunette at the time. I have green eyes. I don't know anything about the guitar. I've tried to learn, but my hands just can't. It kind of hurts when I play. But they chose me, and we did a whole transformation process. Cut my hair really short, dyed it blonde. I wear contacts. And then I flew over to Oahu. And then I got to be on set with Katy Perry.
Wow. Is this like a music video or?
Yeah, it's a music video for the anniversary of Pokemon. So it was incorporated with Pokemon, the animation. And the song's called Electric.
Love that song.
I really love this song. I got it before before it was released, of course. I would play it every day in the car because it's really catchy, actually. But yeah, it was great. I loved being on set. I loved the energy. I loved meeting Katy too. She's very down to earth. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that song. And one little thing, which I'm kind of somebody who hears sounds like, I don't, if you follow Charlie Puth, he's kind of like this, where you hear sounds like everyday sounds and associate them with songs or music notes. We have a Ring doorbell at home, and the sound that the Ring doorbell makes sounds like the first few notes of Electric. Do do do.
Does it actually?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! No way. That's actually really funny.
Yeah, you should Google what the Ring doorbell sounds like. I bet you'd hear the similarity.
The Ring doorbell. Okay, I will. I'll put it into my notes so then I can listen to it. I remember watching the music video actually, and I remember hearing birds. I thought that was so cute.
No, it's a great song. So, I mean, was there much interaction? Was it kind of just watching her do her thing, or how did that go down?
So the first day of set, I don't believe that I saw her. It was kind of just me working. And it was just me going over what I should do, yada yada. It was, let's just say we took a lot of takes on certain things. So like we had our fun every now and then. But then on the second day is when I saw her. I got to meet her um, on set, and I actually didn't see her at first, but then I turned around and all of a sudden I see Katy Perry standing behind me. And I was in shock. I was a big Katy Perry fan when I was little. So I kind of just stood there and I was like, this is Katy. She gives the best hugs. She gave me a hug and
Uh,
she gives really good hugs. But then I got to talk to her every now and then. You know how it is on set. It's kind of busy and like she's doing her own thing. But I got to talk to her. We both like classical music. Um, and she's just like, she's very calm because on TV you see her as like very hyper, but in person, like she's very calm, which
mm,
is what I like about her too.
that's interesting. We always wonder what that pop star persona is going to be like in real life. It's sort of fascinating.
Yeah, no, really, I didn't know what she would be like, but she's calm and she has that very motherly like vibe to her.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe having the baby. I mean, who knows before and after, but maybe it had an impact on sort of her demeanor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think being a mother, it changes your perspective on a lot of things. Your demeanor, yeah.
Right. Now, you mentioned your resume, so I'm curious, besides singing, have you experienced any other parts of performing, whether it be acting or dancing?
So growing up, I have done acting. I've done little films every now and then over here on the Big Island. And then you have to incorporate acting with musicals on top of it. So I'm also a dancer. I used to dance hula for a while, but then I turned into hip hop, jazz, ballet, tap. I can do all that. And I actually, the past year, I've really found a passion in dance just as much as I find passion in singing. Like it's equivalent at this point. It used to be dance, not so much. But I really like dancing because it's like a stress reliever.
Yeah.
Dancing is like therapy because you can move your body and all of that jazz, just how music is for me also, which is why I feel like I connect with it a lot. But then I also was a martial artist. So yeah.
Wow, very wide range. I'm wondering if you chatted with Danielle at all when you were at Idol about dancing, because if listeners might remember from her interview, she is a salsa dancer, and that's one of her hobbies. So I wonder if you guys chatted
I,
about that.
it was so cool. I got to actually, so Marielle, her and I were in a car. And we were with our friend Miles also. He's a pretty dope guy. I
Yeah.
like his music. So we went to McDonald's at night. And then we ended up in the parking lot in the hotel. And I remember we were playing some music, and then all of a sudden she just started busting out salsa. And I didn't know that she danced salsa, so I was dancing before her, and I felt like I looked stupid after she danced. She's really good, but yeah. I never got to talk to her about dancing wise, but I can tell that she finds passion in it from seeing her page and seeing how much she posts about dancing.
For sure. Yeah. Before we kind of get a little bit more into your Idol experience, I am curious, as I said before, people come from all walks of life on that show, and you coming from the islands and growing up there, I'm kind of curious how that shaped you. And, we hear a lot about LA and New York and different places. A lot of contestants come from the South, but this is kind of unique. I haven't really met anybody who's been from that part. So I'd love to hear about what it's like for you and just sort of maybe how that shaped you culturally, musically, anything.
On the Big Island here, there is not much to do. It's very small. There's limited opportunities, so when you are given a chance or an opportunity, you'll take it and you'll try to make the most of it. But it has been hard because there's such limited opportunities. So that's why I try to go for things like American Idol so I can get connections and I can be seen more. But I've enjoyed growing up here because it's calm, it's quiet, just like me. And it's given me time to like reflect on what I want to do in my future, how I want to grow as an artist. And I also I enjoy the culture here. Everyone is so kind. And I think it's given me how do I say this? The demeanor to be like that even when I go out into the industry because I know that it can be kind of difficult.
I think that's really important because, as somebody who hasn't really yet experienced what it's like to be in LA or New York, I kind of would hope that maybe there's some people who don't forget where they came from, and I know that people can get lost in that. And I know that that's something that I'll probably experience, and everybody in the industry does. But, it is cool when there's still people that can remember this is where I came from. This is what shaped me. And I don't want to lose that. And I want to kind of share some of that kindness with other people, even in kind of a crazy business.
If you grow up with certain foundations, I think that you should stick to them if you feel like they make you grow as an individual. And I feel like over here, I've met people who have similar interests as me, but the spirit of aloha and everything amongst that, where I really take into consideration of that. And I want to bring that with me whenever I go to places. I always want to revert to kindness and just be myself.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. As far as Idol goes, I mean, getting to go to Texas, I don't know. First of all, how much have you really kind of spent time out of the island and just going to different places? Was it fun to sort of branch out and be in a different part of the country and all that?
Well, growing up, I have actually been to a lot of places, and partially it's because of just traveling. But I actually did go to Chengdu, China,
Hmm.
when I was 12 to perform there. It was with Brown Bags to Stardom. It was a really cool event, actually. It was a whole festival. I got to sing in front of thousands of people, but it was an event where all of these different people from different places, different cultures would come and they would perform. It was such a unique experience for me, and I feel like my mom, she's been a great help. She's gotten me to go out to places and fly me over places so I can perform or I can try out for things. And I also did pageants when I was young too, so I was able to branch out some more, meet some people in that area, and that's how I feel like I learned a lot of my etiquette from. But yeah, I've been able to branch out a lot, but I definitely want to live on the mainland for sure.
Texas is no sweat then. You go to China and, but you've been all over.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I actually really enjoyed Texas. But yeah, the people there are nice. I like
Yeah.
the style there. The style there is really nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, you've had experience doing a music video with Katy Perry and now you're on American Idol and I don't know what other stuff you've done, but as far as just being around cameras and lights, did it feel comfortable to you or was it another kind of new challenge?
It felt uh with musicals, you're on a stage, there are lights. You can't really see the people in the audience. For me, I don't get nervous. I get more of an adrenaline rush. And I think that actually being on the set with Katy Perry for her music video kind of gave me an idea of what American Idol would be like because it's similar. Like there's always a camera, always rolling, random interviews, all of that jazz. And everything was just like go, go, go at American Idol. And I really like that. I don't kind of like sitting around and just like not knowing what's going to happen. I like being on the go. And it felt smooth for me when I was there. And I got people I met a lot of people too. So my time when I wasn't doing anything was like occupied, but I was able to connect with people.
Did you enjoy kind of the interviewing and having them ask questions about you even before you got into the judges room, B-roll and then having kind of your main interview, maybe you were in the moment like this room or the 360 room where they show your family, those kinds of things. Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy that. As I'm usually a very humble person and I don't like talking about myself, but when it comes to being in an environment where there are so many people who are sharing their story, I felt very comfortable to share my stories or to talk about how I grew up doing music. So I did enjoy being asked about what I like to do so then I could get it out to the world, that this is what I'm very passionate about and this is the reason I'm here for it. And it's funny though, because a couple grasshoppers would fly on me during the interview. So it kind of lightened the mood a little bit, gave a little laughter break too. So I wasn't that like nervous or anything.
Right. Yeah, that's when if it aired, you'd have like the sound effect of like you're talking and then it's like a close up of a bug and it's like the scratch or the
It was huge. It was huge. It was on my head. It went on my forehead. Um, Kind of wish that they aired that because it was kind of funny. So, but that's fine.
yeah, no, it happens. So yeah, I mean, and also you're there for a long time. I mean, you're there way longer than people watching at home would think. It's probably days.
It's a couple of days. I was on the second day of auditions, but before that, it was like, still a couple of days. It was kind of like a whole setup thing. They wanted everyone to settle in, because it was during like when COVID was like very like precautious. They're still very precautious about everything. So they wanted to make sure that everyone was good, everyone, is hydrated. And then just getting through all those people, I can't imagine what it's like just having talent after talent come in, having an interview after interview. So it was busy.
What time of day do you think? Do you remember when you actually got to go and sing in front of the judges?
It was during midday, I believe.
Hmm.
So I had some time to like loosen up in the morning, practice, which I really liked. But it did go from like very early morning to very late at night. If you were the last person to audition, you'd be there very long. But
Yes.
yeah. So it was a long wait, but it was worth it.
I'm sure. And going into that room, what's going through your mind? Because I mean, having the reuniting with Katy Perry thing is probably like a big part of what's going on in your mind, on top of I'm competing for a place in this competition, and I'm sure there's a lot kind of firing off.
Actually, when it comes to doing uh, singing and doing something that I love, I kind of walked into the room with no thought at all
Hmm.
because I like to push my thoughts aside and I like to focus. But before I was like, wow, I'm gonna meet her again. I'm going up against all these amazing singers, kind of intimidated right now, but I'll be fine. So I went in and it felt like it was unreal almost. It felt like I wasn't there in a way, but I was. It was unreal. Yeah.
And did you guys talk about the music video thing? Did it come up at all, you and Katie?
It's so funny because she actually didn't recognize me at first until my name was said.
Uh-huh.
Um, I did change a lot. That's why my hair grew, yada yada. I looked very different than the music video from what I looked like. But it was so funny because she was like, "Wait, I know you." And she's like, "It's like looking in a mirror." And I said, "No." And then the two other judges were very confused. They were just smiling and like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, it's good seeing you again." And yeah, so
That's what's interesting about having artist judges. Like, because if it were the olden days where it was Simon Cowell and Paul Abdul, Randy Jackson, you probably wouldn't have worked with them, but now you have other artists, and so you never know when you're going to cross paths with people.
yeah, and I enjoy meeting all of the big artists too because then I can see what like they are in person.
Right.
And also just meeting them. It's great. It's like an honor almost because they worked so hard to get there. It's great to meet someone who has that kind of determination and passion.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've been in your shoes, and I feel like they must have moments, and Katie probably had one watching you where she's like, I see myself in you. I've been where you are, standing, auditioning for someone.
She said those exact words too.
Oh wow.
She was like, I know where you've been. It's like looking in a mirror. I've been in your shoes before. And I was like, I know, that's crazy. And now you're here. That's insane. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too that you say that you looked different when you were in the video, because when I saw your Instagram page, and knowing that Katie's a blonde now, and just kind of I can see the resemblance, and I'm like, oh, like it makes sense that you were in that video, but it sounds like you looked different when you were actually working with her compared to being on Idol.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't even realize that I did kind of resemble Katie until the music video. Because even after a lot of people were like, you do really look like Katie. And it was so strange because the producers that actually from Pokemon, they were watching the music video in London because they couldn't, fly over to Oahu for the music video, but they were watching it and they actually thought that I was her. And they said, she kind of looks young in this. And they're like, no, that's the young Katie. That's
Oh my
not
God.
Katie. So it was pretty cool actually to I've been hearing a lot, especially after the music video. You resemble Katy Perry. I'm like, I kind of see it. But
Did that come up with the producers who were interviewing you at Idol?
no. No, I don't know. I think they were like very on the go-go. Like, the interviews were more of like figuring out who you are as a person and not really like fun talk, you know? I wish it was fun talk, so maybe it could like lighten up the mood a little bit. But like it was good to talk about what I'm passionate about and just like get it done with kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like so nervous and I'm really excited.
Yeah. What gets you focused? I mean, once you kind of think about why you're here, I'm sure it kind of gives you even more determination than you already have to kind of go in there. You know what you came for. Let's go do it.
And I kind of explained to them that I'm here because I want to grow as an artist. Because being on the Big Island, there's not much to do. So I want to experience more and I want to make more connections so that I am able to grow.
That's cool. I mean, I feel like we talked about, kind of embracing where you come from, but at the same time, when you have to expand your horizons, it's sort of about figuring out like where do you fit in and meeting all these other people, these other contestants, hearing from the judges who come from all different genres. I mean, I feel like every experience that you do, no matter how far you make it, air or don't air, you learn and you grow. And I'm sure that there's so many things that you've taken away from Idol. Just that one experience alone, you probably learned so much.
Yeah, we still have an ongoing group chat even after American Idol. And we still share music. We still keep in touch as much as we can. And I've really enjoyed getting to know all the people at American Idol and getting those connections that I think I need to, grow as an artist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm super grateful that I was able to go there and meet everyone and see Katie again too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to hear about your performance or if you sang more than one song in the audition and how that went.
hmm so my first performance, I sang the song "As the World Caves In" by Matt Maltese, and then they let me sing a second song, and it was "I See Red." Um, but yeah, it went pretty well. I think that my voice was a little bad thing. This that the singers do is that the night before we would sing a lot by the piano, and there was a piano, we would play by it, and then we'd sing our lungs out. So my voice was a little not entirely there, but I think that I did my best and I did what I could, and I sang my heart out.
What was the feedback for the most part?
The feedback was that they're not looking for like Broadway singers.
Mm.
I sounded too Broadway, which I totally understand. It's like it's more of like a pop and country uh, kind of show. They're looking more for that and more for that genre. And I think that the past year I've been working on not trying to sound too Broadway, like put my musical and Broadway self to the side when it comes to more popish music. And so it's actually it made me learn a lot. I did get two no's, but I got a yes. But it made me realize that okay, this is what I need to work on, and then I can maybe come back again, and I can show them that I'm determined, and I worked on this, and yeah,
So who gave you the yes?
Katie.
Yeah, I was gonna guess. I was like, but I don't know. Maybe it was Luke. Who knows? You never know.
No, they said that I sounded too Broadway, but Katie was like, she actually said that I've been in your shoes before. I'm gonna give you a yes.
I definitely feel like it'd be interesting if there was a singing competition show out there more for Broadway type singers, even if that's not specifically what you're pursuing. There's been a lot of country shows and obviously pop shows. I wonder if there was more of a reality show like specifically about Broadway and like let's put you all in one competition. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, there might be, but they're probably not that big. But I think that with Broadway, you kind of just have to go to Broadway to do that. Which is why I actually really want to move to New York so I can do Broadway, go to college there at NYU, hopefully. I'm praying I get in so I can study my craft more and then focus on pop music also.
Are you senior year? Have you like sent in applications or junior?
Yeah, I am a senior now. So college applications are very soon and I'm working my butt off doing them. It's a lot of work, but it is worth it and I just really hope I get into the schools that will help me as an artist.
The fall's crunch time, and then it's like the big relief, but also the big wait. And then once you find out if you're in, it is incredible.
It's never ending, but I think that once I know where I'm going to be and get an idea of what I'm gonna do there, then I'll be okay. I'll be great.
So, like, what was it like when you were on Idol and, even not getting aired? Did your school kind of get behind you and hear about it and like cheer you on and stuff like that?
It's funny because I actually don't really tell people what I do.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
yeah, I kind of stick to myself and I like to keep performing aside from everything else. Like I don't like to incorporate it a lot. If school is school, then school is school. If dance is dance, then dance is dance for me. But with performing, I've with American Idol, I've told a few of my friends. But after the Katy Perry music video, everyone had like an idea that I already like met her, was able to do that. So a lot of people know now that I do perform. Um, but American Idol, I kind of had to tell people that I did it instead of, you know.
Right. Well, like I said, I mean, you probably learned so much from it, and I'm sure it's one of those things where as much as you work up to it and you get that no, you probably have that mindset about like, all right, what's next, and what are we going to keep doing to keep this going?
Mm-hmm. After I didn't make it through the round, of course, I was a little disappointed, but I took it as something, as a sign that this is my time to grow as an artist and to take note of what to do now. Which I think that getting those no's actually really did help me grow as an artist throughout the past year. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't make it through the other round because it gave me more time to focus on my craft and get better at it so that when I am given an opportunity like this again, I'll be even better.
So do you think that you would go on another one of these competition shows if given the chance?
Yeah, I do think I would because not only does it give me the experience, but it gives me the connections. And I want to meet more people who have similar interests as me, and I want to hear their stories and how they're improving their craft also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. I've really enjoyed hearing about this journey of yours because it's different for everybody, and I think that's what's so neat is that you see like even the shots when you guys are all sitting around, like as you said, sometimes there's guitars and you're all kind of talking to each other, but I'm always like, okay, I want to like pick out each person. What's their story? What's their story? And it sounds kind of like that's what you were saying towards the beginning about how you were kind of interested too and hearing where everybody came from. So I think that that's probably what's fun about it too is not just like how you can grow as an artist, but just sort of seeing where everybody came from. And of course, your story is really interesting. And the fact that you talk about kind of being more to yourself a little bit, I find that fascinating because it's like you have this big dream, and sometimes it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and I want this person to know and that person to know. But it seems like you're very focused. And that's a good thing because it's like, they don't need to know. I'm just doing my own thing out here.
Yeah, I like to keep to myself and you're exactly right. I like to focus and I like to pursue what I like to do. And if people want to be a part of it and they want to support me, I'm super grateful for it. But I'm an individual person. I like being alone and I like to do things on my own and kind of get better. That I'm kind of stubborn. So when I want something, I will do anything to get it and but I'll make sure to do it the right way and to, grow, make sure to grow. And I want to surround myself by people that help me grow, which is why I really enjoy these kind of singing shows. Because I feel like meeting those people, it really does help me grow.
It's almost like that's as inspiring as looking up to sort of more of these established artists as the people that are also kind of starting out and where have they come from and what have they done to get to this point, because I think you all are out here grinding, you all have this hustle going, and it's, I'm sure it's tough at times, but the motivation comes from realizing that you're all in this together and you just got to keep going.
Yeah. And that's what I really like about meeting all these people is because that they were willing to take this chance because it can be kind of scary and you don't know what you're going in for. It. Like some of these people I haven't had experience. Like I met some people who hadn't really sang before and then all of a sudden they're here at American Idol, which is
Right.
like, you know, and then there are some people who have been working at it their whole lives. Like you never know what someone has been going through, but we're all there for the same thing.
For sure. Yeah. Um, well, before we go, I want to talk about this single that we're going to play because after we get off, I want people to hear this song of yours, Love Me Less, and I want to talk about it a little bit so people can get to kind of hear more about your artistic process and what went into creating this song.
I've been wanting to make music for a while. I've just been singing musicals or I've been doing musicals. And I really wanted to make something that came from me rather than doing things that, have come from other people. And so I decided, you know what, let's make some music. So I went to the studio. I met my producer, his name's Bob. And I worked with him on making this song. It's called Love Me Less. And I kind of wrote it. I don't know. I write things from experience and I don't write things from experience. I kind of mix it all together. Some things are personal for me in the song, and some things I feel like other people can relate to. So I kind of mix it all both in. And so I have a hard time making like the music of it, but I'm a really good writer, I feel. And I do have a musical ear, but I got to learn how to make the music, you know?
Hmm.
But it was a great process, and it took a little bit, but it was finally done, and I got to promote it a little bit, and it felt so good to have people listening to my music because I got a lot of support from the song, and I was just super grateful that people liked it and that people were able to hear from me.
Hmm. So can you tell me a little bit more about the specifics of kind of the meaning behind Love Me Less? And obviously I've heard the song, they're going to hear the song, but I just want to kind of hear your take on what the words mean to you.
Mhm. Well, the song is kind of about, if you, from my perspective, the song is kind of about someone who is, going through a little something with another person, and they feel like they are not reciprocating that kind of, love. And I think that's why it's called Love Me Less, because, that person loves you less than you love them. And so that's how I interpret the song. And I feel like so many other people, that's something that I love about music, is that people interpret songs completely differently. Sometimes it could be about a loved one, like romantic partner. Sometimes it could be about a family member or, a friendship. And so, yeah.
What is it like to sort of have a vision lyrically and then maybe even your own sort of like production ideas, and then as you said you kind of are more of your strength comes from writing the words, so to actually work on the production, was it challenging, was it fun, how would you describe the experience of making the song?
Um, for me, it's kind of challenging. Like, this is something that I do find a challenge in, and it's something that I do think I could get better at, because I do want to mainly do things on my own. I don't really like being group, like incorporated wise. I like doing things on my own, having things like my way, um, especially when it comes to music. I want it to sound how I want it to sound like. And so I think that working with other people was a bit of a struggle, but they were hearing me and they took into note my things, which I really appreciated. But I do think it's something that I want to learn more so I can do it on my own.
For sure.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to ask, and this is in no way something that I've been asked to promote or anything, but I don't know if you've heard about this new thing that Simon Cowell announced with Max Martin with TikTok. It's called Stemdrop. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I think I might have heard of it, but I have no clue what it is.
So obviously Simon Cowell and Max Martin, this like big one of the biggest songwriters in the world. They're working with TikTok, and it's called Stemdrop. Stems, if listeners aren't familiar, are the individual tracks when you produce a song. So you've got the drums, vocals, guitar, etc. And so it is basically Max Martin producing a song and then giving access to anybody on TikTok who's an artist to take the stems, hence stem drop, and do whatever they want with it. So it's 60 seconds of a song, and you can change anything and everything about it and then add your voice to it. So you can make it faster, slower, take away this instrument, add that instrument. If you're a producer and you know what you're doing, you can do whatever you want with it. And so the first song's coming out tomorrow. The song is called Red Lights. And so people can just play with red lights, add their voice to it, and then send their version to Max Martin. And I guess whichever one he likes, he'll use and then release the song with that person's voice. So it's basically discovering an unknown artist, and then if it goes well, there'll be another drop, stem drop, and then they'll just keep being hit songs with undiscovered artists from TikTok.
That's actually really impressive. I am going to do that right after this interview. I'm good. It's an app.
So it's actually so on TikTok, if you follow Stem Drop, it's not really launched yet on October 26th, which is again tomorrow as this interview drops. So this Wednesday, the first song will drop. It's called Red Lights. Any artist, if you're listening and you're an artist, you can check it out, can work with the song and tweak it however you want. And then again, if it works out and it's successful, that's kind of an experiment at this point. They will add new songs, and he'll keep producing new stuff for artists to play around with. So October 26th, again tomorrow, that's when you can hear the song and get to it.
I'm gonna get to it because I think it's great that a lot of these artists are actually giving other people an opportunity like this too. And I think that TikTok is great also when it comes to artist stuff. And because I've actually found a lot of songs that I haven't heard of before and a lot of artists. So I think that's a great way of like promoting something and giving people this opportunity. I'm gonna do it right after this interview.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm telling everybody that I know that are my artist friends about it because if you are an artist, you could have the chance to work with Max Martin. I mean, access to his song, that's insane.
It is insane.
Anyway, well, I'm so glad that I could leave you with that. And before we go and before we play Love Me Less, I also want to give you the chance, Meili, to plug your socials and to talk about anywhere that people can go to stream your music or check you out online so that they can stay tuned with what you're up to.
Mhm. So on my Spotify, it is just Meili Aspen, Meili Aspen. And then my Instagram is the same, Meili Aspen. And my YouTube, you can look me up at Meili Aspen, Meili Aspen. I post every now and then on YouTube and post every now and then on my socials. But yeah, and there's more, definitely more to come.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure that you follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Idol Unaired Podcast. If you have not already subscribed, whether you're watching or listening, it's very easy. Just hit that subscribe button, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. And Meili, thank you so much for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You never loved the way I did. Kept quiet when I was hurt too. Don't need your apologies, just want you to think of me. I know it's cool. And you couldn't seem more relieved to erase those memories. It doesn't make any sense to me. 'Cause why aren't you drowning with regret? From all the things that you had said, after what you put me through, you're not even hurting too. Was I not enough for you? What made you change your mind? What if it wasn't the time to be our worst goodbyes? I'm not even gonna lie, it feels too cool. But you couldn't seem more relieved to erase those memories. It doesn't make any sense to me. 'Cause why aren't you drowning with regret? From all the things that you had said, after what you put me through, you're not even hurting too. Was I not enough? And I wish you would give us a chance. Maybe you thought it best to let me go. Maybe you thought it best. Did that make you love me less? I know you have some things to figure out, so this pain is all I have of you now.